2005, she was 19 years old, and she met and became the girlfriend and employee, she alleges, of Sean Diddy Combs.
Long time no see. Yes, I've been away for a while. Life has been pretty hectic and a lot of things that I've been going through. Kind of settled on where I want to go in my life, and I do want to make this a full-time job. It's just really difficult to fit everything in my schedule. So I'm going to try. Please, if you're watching this video, please like, subscribe, and share this video if you care. Let's get into today's topic. It's going to be a spicy one. I'm low-key kind of scared to cover it because it deals with a very powerful figure. It's going to be featuring P. Diddy. I'm very scared. So if this doesn't do well, I'm going to be pissed because I'm actually very scared. So let's just get into this. So before I get into the story, I do want to place a really heavy trigger warning. It is a very triggering story. I do go through the entire 35-page lawsuit that is dropped in this story. So if you are sensitive to any SA, any A, if that makes sense, if you're sensitive to any of that, I highly recommend to watch another video of mine. Today I'm going to be talking about the newest lawsuit that has been dropped that's kind of been taking over the world over the last few days, and then actually settled yesterday, which was really, really quick and really weird. Let's get into the timeline. So if you don't know, P. Diddy, aka Sean Combs, aka Diddy, I'm going to refer to him in many different names, but P. Diddy is an American rapper, singer, and producer. He has collaborated with so many notable celebrities like the Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, and Eminem. Some songs that you may recognize him from is More Money, More Problems, I'll Be Missing You, and All About the Benjamins. So back in 2006, Diddy signed a new female artist to his label, which is Bad Boy Records. And if you don't know Cassie, I wanted to be Cassie when I grew up. She's behind Me and You and Too Long to Go, two of my favorite songs from the 2000s. Bangers, love her. I always wanted to be Cassie when I grew up. After 2006, which led into 2007, Cassie became the face of Diddy's fashion house, Sean Don. Even though Diddy was with his late girlfriend at the time, Kim Porter, which if you want a video on Kim Porter, I definitely can do it. She has a lot of speculation around her death. But he was with Kim Porter at the time. There's still like some rumors going back and forth that he was kind of mixing and mingling with his artist, Cassie. Actually states in a lawsuit around this time, in 2007, during her 21st birthday, she was in a room with Diddy and he forcibly kissed her and she ran out. So I don't know if that's where the speculation comes from, but that's what she says in her lawsuit, which we'll get into later on in the video. At this point, she details that while working with him, he would constantly SH her, ask her for dates, and she says that she clearly rejected his advances at the time. And then eventually later on the year, Cassie and Diddy did announce that they were dating. There's no like rhyme or reason to why him and Kim broke up, even though they do have quite a few kids together, or how that came about. It was just kind of like Cassie says, you know, he relentlessly tried to pursue her, and eventually they started dating. So I don't know what's behind that. And these two went on to have a very tumultuous relationship for the next 11 years. They were constantly on again, off again until 2018. And they actually broke up very quietly. Everybody just noticed that they delayed pictures. And a source that was very close to both Cassie and Diddy went to the media and said, hey, they're over. And that was kind of that. Nobody really questioned it. We were all just kind of like, okay, you know. Now, in 2023, Cassie Ventura files a lawsuit against her ex-boyfriend and ex-boss, P. Diddy, aka Sean Combs. And not only is she suing Diddy himself, but she is suing Bad Boys Entertainment, Bad Boys Records LLC, Epic Records, Comb Enterprises LLC, and Doe Corporations. This is a 35-page legal document that I went through, so this is going to take quite some time. I also want to state that everything is alleged by Cassie. This is all alleged. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I am very scared about this video. So everything is alleged by Cassie. So I really want to put it out there that it is all alleged, and this is everything coming from the legal document itself. So let's get into what Cassie had to say in her lawsuit. So she talks about how they met in the beginning. So she was 19 and he was 37, and he was her boss. Right off the bat, she's already letting us know that there was a huge power imbalance with him being almost 20 years older than her and her boss at the time. So she's already letting us know how this is starting. She says that she was lured into the world of Hollywood and he immediately took over her personal life and her professional life. She also states that he inserted himself as a father figure and a protector in her life, which is very bizarre because it is a 20-year age gap, and then you start dating her while calling yourself her father figure, which says a lot about the dynamics in that relationship. In her lawsuit, she claims that Diddy went as far as to ask her what she called her grandpa, and she said, "I call my grandpa Pop Pop." And he allegedly asked her to call him Pop Pop from that point on, which is also very icky, like gross, like, okay. She said one of the first times that he tried to pursue her, he lured her out on a night out to dinner, and he claimed that they were going to be talking about her career, obviously. She says at some point he hands her a pill and she later finds out that it is E. She says that that night he appeared drunk, high, and agitated, and he was driving recklessly with her in the car. And that is just kind of like the surface level of everything that happens within this story. She says later that year, Diddy and some of his associates created a fake flyer. And the flyer was saying that she was hosting a party or an event in Miami. She also claims that they did this so she can tell her boyfriend at the time, this is why she's going to Miami. And of course that power imbalance is there. So she tells her boyfriend that she's going to Miami. She said that she got so intoxicated on this trip by substances that were given to her by Diddy, and she felt like she couldn't resist the offer from Diddy. She felt like, you know, this is my boss, this is my career, I probably shouldn't turn this down. So she felt peer pressure into taking the substances. Also alleges that this is the first time they had any type of relations. Then she goes into the love bombing aspect of this relationship. She says that he would flaunt his wealth in front of her and her parents. She said that he bought her several apartments in New York City and in LA. He bought her expensive cars and expensive jewelry and clothes. But she said with all of these luxuries of being the girlfriend of Diddy, there also came his violent outbursts. She said that she was continuously beaten savagely. Then he would shower her with gifts after the beatings, and he would leave bruises all over her body, and then he would hide her in hotels to conceal her injuries. She recalls a moment in 2009 where they went to a party at Jay-Z's house where she was hit and kicked repeatedly, and after that she spent 3 days hiding in her apartment, which is just really sad. This next story is really tough, so if you are sensitive to really traumatic stories, I highly recommend that you skip ahead about 2 minutes or so. But in 2009, Cassie recounts a time where she spoke to another music manager, and she went back and told her boyfriend because she was really excited. She really thought that this music manager was going to help her with her career. Apparently, he became so enraged that he pulled her out of the club and pulled her into their car. He cornered her in the car and he began to stomp on her face repeatedly. She claims that his security tried to intervene and it didn't work. When they finally got to his home, she ran out of the car when he found her and began kicking her face. She claims that she was bleeding profusely and she began vomiting after everything that she just went through. She alleges that after that encounter, he forced her to stay in a hotel to conceal her injuries. Then he arranged his assistants to buy her gifts as an apology. She said after this night, she became numb to the beatings. This quote in the lawsuit states, "In addition to the physical altercations, Mr. Combs frequently reminded Miss Ventura of his ability to cause harm, whether by requiring her to carry his weapon in her purse or by blowing up a car of a musician that was romantically interested in Ventura," which the whole blowing up the car situation I will get into a little later in this video. She states that Diddy was receiving illegal substances from a doctor in Miami, and whenever Diddy would run out too soon, because I know at least in New Jersey with controlled substances, there is a cap per month, or a cap per time period. So when that does cap out, you can't get any more. So she claims that this doctor would start prescribing them for her and he would take it. So she's claiming that he was using controlled substances and getting more out of her name. This part is also very, very hard to listen to. I don't get into too much detail into it. If you do want to hear more about this specific portion of the lawsuit, you can find the link to the lawsuit in the description below. But this part is very hard to listen to. So Cassie recounts repeated times of having to engage with male S-workers. Diddy apparently would call them freak-offs or OF, and she claimed that he would like to watch her have encounters with these S-workers, and he had a like for voyeurism. If you don't know what that word means, it means watching in general, getting off on watching. You have to be required to wear a masquerade mask, and some of these events would last over a few days. And she claims that he gave her an infinite amount of gifts and substances to help her cope with these unwanted acts because she did not want to participate in having encounters with random S-workers. He would also engage by himself while watching her, if you know what that means. Like I said, there are more details in the lawsuit about these freak-offs. The details she goes into during this lawsuit about this part is super disturbing, and I don't feel comfortable re-saying it on camera. One of the scariest parts of the lawsuit was hearing how she tried to get out of the situation that she was in. She claimed that every time she tried to hide from her boyfriend, his associates would find her, track her down, and bring her back to him. So she felt like she had no escape from this man, which is just so like, it's really tough to hear her story in that lawsuit. She claimed that when her and Diddy were going through a rough patch, she started to have a romantic relationship with another artist named Kid Cudi. Apparently, Diddy found emails of a flirtatious relationship going on between Cassie and Kid Cudi. Apparently, when he confronted her about this, he lunged at her with a manual corkscrew, and she tried to actually flee to Kid Cudi's house, and his associates allegedly found her and brought her back. She claimed at this point that Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car while he's inside of it, and one of Kid Cudi's spokespersons actually confirmed that one of his cars did blow up in his driveway when he wasn't home, which is absolutely wild. And there's haven't been a link between that scenario of his car blowing up and Diddy, but people are starting to link the pieces together, and that is just so wild. I'm not saying that he did that. I'm just saying that's a wild speculation and possibility. She also recounts another time where Diddy beat her very, very severely. He gave her 2 black eyes, a busted lip, and a big welt on her forehead. She claims that Diddy's head of security found her, and he himself began to cry at how bad she looked. She claimed that she was urged to wear makeup to cover her injuries. She also recounts another incident in 2016. This one is direct quotes because it's too insane for me to even try to paraphrase, so I pulled the direct quote from the lawsuit. During an OF at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, Mr. Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye. After he fell asleep, Miss Ventura tried to leave the hotel room, but as she exited, Mr. Combs woke up and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling. He grabbed at her and took a glass vase in the hallway and threw them at her, causing the glass to crash around them as she ran to the elevator to escape. She managed to get into the elevator, and when she got to the lobby, quickly took a cab to her apartment. Upon realizing that running away would cause Mr. Combs to be even angrier and completely stuck in his vicious cycle of Miss Ventura returned to the hotel with the intention of apologizing for running away from her. When she returned to the hotel, security staff urged her to get back into a cab and go to her apartment, suggesting that they had seen the security footage showing Mr. Combs beating Miss Ventura and throwing glass at her in the hotel hallway. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs paid the Intercontinental Century City $50,000 for the hallway security footage from that evening. After this, Miss Ventura left her home in Comstock and went to hide away at a friend's home in Florida. James Cruz, president of Bad Boy Management, tracked Miss Ventura down and told her that her single will not be released if she did not answer Mr. Combs' phone call. A woman who worked at Sony Music reached out to her with a similar ultimatum concerning her record. Incredibly, Mr. Combs even convinced his attorney to call Miss Ventura at this time. This lawyer told Miss Ventura that it's not in your best interest. It is in your best interest to call Mr. Combs back. She's also claiming that a lot of people were complicit in the that she was facing, and by that story, it really shows that they were, and that people are scared of this man. And the fact that so many people went so far to not only cover it up, but convince her to stay is absolutely beyond wild. Even the woman is calling her, giving her an ultimatum about her career or getting out of an abusive situation is just so mind-boggling to me that she was even put in this situation. What? Very passionate about women in general and women's rights. There was too many complicit followers. Instead of helping this defenseless woman and having him take accountability for his actions, he just got like everybody just being yes men around him. it's just so like infuriating to me. In 2018, she finally felt the courage to leave P. Diddy. So she set up a dinner in a public restaurant to kind of sever or kind of cut ties with him officially. They both returned to her home, which he owns, by the way. This is when he allegedly forced his way into her home and allegedly R-worded her. And she repeatedly told him no. And I do want to make it clear, just because you have dinner with somebody, to go through what Cassie went through in that moment. So she eventually moved out of this home, but at some point afterwards, she had to move again because her address was posted online. So just for her safety, she moved again. She said after this relationship, she struggled with substance abuse, night terrors, PTSD. She couldn't eat. And this is when she finally checked herself into a rehab facility, which good for you. And after this point in her life, she actually went on to get married, and she has 2 beautiful children, and she has started a beautiful family, which kudos to her. I'm so happy that after 11 years of being in what seems like a very toxic relationship, she was able to get herself together without this man and move on and create something so beautiful, which I'm so happy for her. But she does state that this relationship caused deep psychological trauma for her, which I can only imagine. I do applaud her bravery for coming forward with this suit. We've all heard it. P. Diddy is a very scary man. So I do applaud her for coming forward with her story. And one quote that I do want to pull from the lawsuit states, "She cannot, however, continue to live in silence about what she endured with Mr. Combs. He remains immensely powerful and immensely dangerous. Ms. Ventura therefore seeks justice for the decade of her life that Mr. Combs took away from her with the threats of violence, excessive use of substances, physical and psychological, and sexual slavery." She does say in the lawsuit that her mother did take pictures of these injuries. When I first read this, I wondered if it was going to trial or not, but we find out what happens later on. I will get to that. In her lawsuit, she cites several trafficking laws that were violated. She also claims battery against Mr. Sean Combs. She is suing all parties for covering up the crimes and sexual harassment, which her, directly from the lawsuit, she is requesting money judgment representing compensatory damages, including consequential damages, lost wages, earnings, and all other sums of money, together with interest on these amounts according to proof. Which, yeah, she had to leave her career behind, because if she wasn't complicit with what was happening, she wasn't going to have a career. Which, in reality, she didn't end up having a career anyway. Like, she literally dropped, like, 2 bops and then 1 song with Nicki Minaj. And then her career fizzled out anyways. So it wasn't like she really was held back. And let's be real, once you, like, leave somebody in Hollywood or file a lawsuit like this, you're pretty much blackballed. I think we all can say that. She most likely got blackballed after leaving that relationship. And she was probably blackballed while being there as well. She also wants money for a money judgment for mental pain and anguish and severe emotional distress, according to proof. She wants punitive and exemplary damages, according to proof, attorney's fees and costs, prejudgment and post-judgment interest, and for other and further relief as court may deem just and proper. So she's coming for her big one, which, period, because what the fuck? Like, I can't even commend Cassie enough for coming forward with her story about somebody so powerful. And you know what? She deserves every cent. And as of yesterday, we actually find out that Diddy already settled outside of court, which this lawsuit was filed like less than a week ago, maybe 5 days ago, and as of today, 5 days ago. And 5 days later, he has already settled, which to me, in my opinion, that means he has something to hide. He doesn't want to go to trial. He wants this to be covered up and hush hush, doesn't want to talk about it. He has not made any statements about what happened.
Hello, editing me here. Don't mind my appearance. I am just letting my hair curl. But I did make a mistake. There actually was a statement made, and I'm going to insert that statement here.
And his attorney has released a statement to CNN, which reads, in part, Mr. Combs denies these offenses and outrageous allegations. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Ms. Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail, baseless and outrageous lies aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and simply seeking a payday.
Like, here's your fucking money, go on about your business, stop talking about me. Which I still kind of feel is fucked. He still needs to be held accountable because money is just giving up money is just the easy way out when you have that much money. I feel like he needs like jail time. Like, I don't know, like if everything she's saying is true, because like I did say, like everything is alleged by Cassie, but if what she's saying is true, like, no, sir, you need to go to jail. Like, what the fuck? But my final thoughts are, I am team Cassie. I really wish this did go to trial and he didn't settle and keep everything so hush-hush immediately. I feel like he had something to hide by doing that. And that is just my opinion. But that is all from me today. And please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel to get more of me. I will continue to try posting. And I also want to start a true crime channel. So let me know if you'll be interested in that. But yeah, make sure that you are subscribed, like, and share if you motherfucking care. And I will see you in the next one.